911, where's your emergency?
This is Alex Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police to answer immediately. My wife and child just shot badly.
Okay, you said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Sir?
You said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Yes, sir. 4147 Moselle Road.
Stay on the line with me, okay? Yes, sir. Stay on the line with me, okay?
Conner County Communications.
Carlton, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line, caller from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot.
Okay, and sir, give me the address again.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Okay. Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
Are they in a vehicle?
No, ma'am. They're on the ground out at my kennels.
Okay, and did you see anyone? Okay, is he breathing at all?
No. Nobody.
Is she? Okay, do you see anything? Do you see anyone in the area?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
On June 7th, 2021, Alex Murdaugh, a now disgraced South Carolina lawyer, called 911 to report the murder of his wife Maggie and his son Paul. At around 10 o'clock in the evening, Murdaugh found Maggie and Paul near the dog kennels on the family's sprawling 1,700-acre hunting estate in Islandton, South Carolina. The property that straddled Colleton and Hampton counties served as the family's primary residence.
It's bad. It's bad. Check the pulses.
Yes, sir. This is the firearm you brought from inside the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went and got. This is a long story. My son was in a boat wreck a few months back. He's been getting threats. Most of it's been benign stuff we didn't take serious.
Okay.
He's been getting like punched. I know that's somebody. I know that's what it is.
Okay. When did you get home? Right when you called, or did you go to the house first? Where is the house?
I came to the house first. My mom has late stages Alzheimer's, and my dad is in the hospital.
Okay.
I left. I don't know what time. I can go back on my phone and tell you the exact times. Did you check?
Okay. Did I check what?
Did you check them?
We got medical guys that are. That's what they're gonna do. Okay.
What are they doing? Can they hurry?
They are. Yes, sir. That gentleman that was out here already. He's one of the battalion chiefs. Okay. How did you pull up? You from back there?
I went to the house and they weren't home, which was odd. I tried to call.
Okay.
And then I knew they had been down here before I left to go to my mom's.
Okay.
And so that is loaded.
Okay.
You might want to unload it. But I mean.
Is this the only firearm with you? This is the only one, or is there any more in the truck?
I believe that's it.
You think that's the only one? Okay.
I'm 99%.
Do you normally
certain
have any other firearms in your vehicle?
I don't, but occasionally
Okay.
occasionally there's a pistol in there.
Okay. Just wait right here for me for a second, okay?
Central House.
Copy.
They are dead, aren't they?
Just turn on those.
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
Randy. Dragon's smaller, man. Where are you now? All right. Yeah, the police are here now. The police are here now.
On February 9th, 2019, Murdaugh's son Paul was involved in a deadly boat wreck. It was a turning point for the Murdaugh family. Paul, then 19, crashed his father's boat into the Arches Creek Bridge in Beaufort, South Carolina. Mallory Beach, who was 19 at the time, was killed in the accident, and 4 others were injured. Paul's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. Beach's family and the other passengers filed a wrongful death lawsuit naming Murdaugh, Maggie, Buster, and the convenience store that sold the then minor alcohol. Paul was indicted on 1 count of boating under the influence causing death, and 2 counts of boating under the influence and causing great bodily harm. However, Paul would not live to see the case go to trial, and from this point on, SLED officers took over the investigation.
All right, As I stated, I'm David Owen in Lower Rutland with Colleton County, and I'm with SLED. I hate to have to do this.
I understand.
Yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
So you don't have any problem with it.
So just start at the top. Take your time.
Like when I came back here, I mean, I pulled up and I could see him, and you know, I knew something was bad. And I ran over to Maggie, and actually, I think I tried to turn Paul over first. You know, I tried to turn him over, and I don't know, I figured it out. His cell phone popped out of his pocket. I started to try to do something with it, thinking maybe, but then I put it back down really quickly. Then I went to my wife, and I mean, I could see.
Did you touch Maggie at all?
I did. I touched them both.
Okay.
I tried to take, I tried to do it as limited as possible, but I tried to take their pulse on both of them. And, you know, I called 911 pretty much right away, and she was very good. I talked to her. I told her I was going to get off the phone to call some family members. I did that.
What family members did you call?
I called my brother Randy, and I called my brother John. And I tried to call a little boy, real good friend that's right around the corner from here, but I didn't get him.
What all was around Paul when you walked up?
Blood.
Anything else?
I mean, there were some body things, yes, sir.
I mean, like any other evidence? I know you said the phone fell out the pocket, but did you see anything else that didn't belong or shouldn't belong or that wasn't part of Paul?
No, sir, not the, no, sir.
How about Maggie?
No, sir.
You didn't see anything around them? What made you come out here tonight?
I went to, my mom's a late stage Alzheimer's patient. My dad's in the hospital. My mom gets anxious when she does. I went to check on them and Maggie. Maggie's a dog lover, and she fools with the dogs. And I knew she'd gone to the kennel. I was at the house. I left the house and went to my mom's for just a little while. Tried to call her when I left. Texted her, no response. When I got back to the house was obviously nobody was in there, so I figured they're still up here fooling around. Paul was gonna be getting set up to plant. Our sunflower seeds got sprayed and died, and he was refiguring to plant the sunflower seeds. So I came back up here and I drove up and saw and called.
Had Maggie and Paul been arguing over anything?
No.
What was their relationship like?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. How about yours and Maggie's?
Wonderful. I mean, I'm sure we had little things here and there, but we had a wonderful marriage, wonderful relationship.
And yours and Paul's relationship?
As good as it could be.
SLED stands for the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division and often provides some much-needed manpower and technical assistance to other law enforcement agencies, or conducts investigations on behalf of those agencies in South Carolina. David Owen, a SLED agent, conducted the first line of questioning while still on the scene the night of Maggie and Paul's murder. Murdaugh is seen as emotional when speaking to David about the events, but soon calms down. While his speech is impaired with grief, Murdaugh calms himself and began to answer the questions calmly and collectively.
Have y'all been having any problems out here? Trespassers, people breaking in?
None that I know of. The only thing that what comes to my mind is my son Paul was in a boat wreck a couple years ago, and there's been he was charged with being arrested for being the driver. There's been a lot of negative publicity about that, and there's been a lot of people online just really vile stuff. But when Paul's out and about, I mean, people routinely, I don't think I know the full story, because I don't think they give it to me, but I mean, he's been punched and hit and just attacked a lot. So, but I mean, nothing like this.
Yeah. Any one person in particular or group of people?
I don't know.
That you could think of?
Not that I know, no, sir.
Has he, other than being assaulted, has he received any direct threats related to the boat accident?
Oh, yes. All the time he gets
recently?
Threats. Yes, sir. I mean, he gets them all the time.
Okay.
He gets them all the time.
Murdaugh is putting emphasis on his son's high-profile case, insinuating that someone who was threatening Paul was behind the murder, but couldn't provide any suspect names. It's almost as if the disbarred lawyer was attempting to push the SLED and county officers in a different direction in order to take the spotlight off of himself. During this time in the car, David Owen and Laura Rutland were conducting a factual analysis. This is an inductive approach investigators take, where they evaluate each suspect in respect to the specific observations relating to the crime. Factual analysis relies not only on the crime scene analysis, but also on the information investigators learn about the suspects. This often includes gender, race, occupation, opportunity, and access to commit the crime, and their behavior before and after the crime. The SLED and county officers chose to question Murdaugh on scene in order to identify any and all characteristics about him and the crime while it was still fresh.
Do y'all store any weapons out here?
We don't store them, but they're frequently out here. I need to find out if there were any out here, because I know there was a shotgun. There was a 12-gauge shotgun out here. I'll have to find out exactly when that was. I think it got put up, but I'm not positive.
What did that shotgun look like?
It was a camouflage. I want to say it was a Benelli or maybe a Beretta. I can't remember which brand it is. But I don't think it was out here.
Okay.
Recently. But I'm not positive.
And the shotgun that you had when deputies pulled up, where did that come from?
I went to the house and I got a gun. Probably overreacting, but...
And was that when you pulled up and saw them?
No, I came out and I called 911 first. Talked to them for a little while, and then I told her.
You told her?
That I was going to go to the house.
Okay.
And that I would let authorities know when they got here that I had a gun.
Okay. Do you happen to have a list of all your guns?
I can make one. I don't have one, but I can make one.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, so we could compare if that shotgun was out here and now it's missing.
Absolutely.
Try to figure that out.
I know, absolutely.
And I know living out here in the country, you probably have more than one or two.
We do. We probably have 20, 25 guns.
Yeah, shotguns,
rifles, pistols.
Throughout the questioning, Murdaugh begins to fidget with the tissue in his hand. He uses it to wipe his lips, nose, and more several times. Several times he leans out the car door to spit, temporarily stopping the conversation. He has also begun speaking with his hands, moving them around as he answers questions. When suspects do this, it's often a sign that they are telling a lie or are nervous. When Murdaugh talks about the shotgun that may or may not have been outside of the kennels, his answers jump back and forth between "it was out here" to "it got put up." Murdaugh follows up with "but I'm not positive" and "but I think it did." It seems as though Murdaugh doesn't want to give Agent Owen a concrete answer. Another tell sign of lying.
So I want to go back to Monday morning, and you went to the office.
Okay.
What time did you go to the office? Who was at your house when you left? And what time did you go to the office?
We had been to a ball game that weekend. I don't remember exactly what time. It would have been somewhere between 8:30 and 9:30 probably. Okay. 10 o'clock maybe at the latest.
Okay.
Something like that.
And when I ask about time, I'm not saying it was 5:11 or something like that. I just
totally understand.
I mean ballpark.
That's
as close as you can get to it.
And if you need to know exactly when, there would be a keypad that would tell when exactly I went in my office.
Okay.
That I can get for you.
Okay.
So
you have a key fob to get in your office?
A card.
A card.
Yes,
okay.
But, a little bit, it was probably a little bit on the later side of that. I guess I know Maggie got up early to get out of there because she had an appointment in Charleston. Just don't remember if I left right after she did or I piddled around.
Okay. And I already know that Paul stayed at John Marvin's that night, so it was just you and Maggie at the house.
That's correct.
And I know when you were at the office, you were working on motions, and some of those motions you dealt with were for Paul's, the boat accident, or the boat case.
I'm not really doing the legal work.
I understand, but you're Paul's dad, you're a lawyer, you're definitely going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So what were those motions? Did it deal with Parker's, or was it the actual boat accident, or?
It was the civil case.
Okay. What time did you leave and get home?
Earlier than normal. I'd say 5:30.
That's when you left the office?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What time did Paul get home that night?
Me and Paul got there about the same time.
Okay.
Maybe he was a little bit later than me, or maybe a little bit earlier than me, but it was close to the same time.
Okay. And y'all rode around the farm. I believe you said 2 different trucks, or 2 different vehicles.
Yes, sir.
What were those 2 different vehicles?
We rode in the white pickup truck, and we rode in the black pickup truck.
In either one of those, did you see any long guns? Take your time.
It's okay.
Did you see any rifles or shotguns?
I don't remember seeing any that day, no. We did have pistols.
Yeah, because I know you said you went target practicing.
Well, not really target practice.
Okay, just shoot. Yeah.
We rode around for a couple hours, just looked at everything. All the stuff Paul did on the farm. And,
This is the 3rd time during the investigation that Murdaugh has been questioned. Under the guise of having an update in the case, Agent Owen brought Murdaugh and his lawyer in, but instead of having an update, Agent Owen wanted to re-question Murdaugh. At this point in the investigation, SLED and county investigators were unable to find any other potential suspects. Agent Owen, who is with SLED, believed Murdaugh to be the prime suspect.
There is a video on Paul's phone of you and him on the farm that night, and you were in khaki pants and a dress shirt. You were playing with a tree.
I don't remember playing with a tree.
Yeah, I guess there was a tree sapling or something that had fallen over or bending over, and you were trying to get it to stand up. But I mean, the question in that is, when I met you that night, you were in shorts and a t-shirt. At what point in that evening did you change clothes?
I'm not sure. It would have been
Before dinner or after dinner?
No, it would have been. What time of day was that? I would have thought I'd already changed.
There's not a time stamp on it because there's so many posts. But I want to say it looks to be about dusk. So that would have been 7:30, 8 o'clock.
I guess I changed when I got back to the house.
Just as before, Murdaugh will not give Agent Owen a straight answer. By continuing to beat around the bush, Murdaugh is stalling. He's trying to think of a non-incriminating answer, and while he is not fidgeting or grooming himself during this portion of the interrogation, Murdaugh is sitting defensively. His legs and arms are both tightly crossed. By doing this, Murdaugh is subconsciously creating a safety barrier between himself and the agent. He is obviously uncomfortable with the questions being asked and is trying to buy himself more time.
Earlier when we spoke, and you talked about waking up from your nap and going to check on your mother, and you tried to call Maggie and you tried to call Paul, and then you sent Maggie a text that you were going to check on your mother. You also told me that Maggie didn't normally go with you to check on your mother, but that she might ride that night. Did you go by and check on her?
Go by and check on my mom?
Maggie, before you left to go?
No, I didn't.
With her not responding to you and thinking that she might ride with you, why didn't you?
I don't remember having plans that Maggie was going to ride with me. But maybe she had told me that she was that night. I don't recall that. I don't remember that specifically, but it wasn't. She didn't normally go with me. It's not like we had plans that she was going to ride with me, or that she was going.
As Murdaugh continues to ramble and string nearly incoherent sentences together, it becomes more and more blatant to Agent Owen that he is hiding something. Murdaugh trails off his sentences and begins to cry. His face contorts and he sniffles, but it almost doesn't seem real.
Another part in the 911 call, you made the comment, "I should have known." And the questioning that surrounded, dispatcher's asking, "Is anybody else supposed to be at the house?" And you said, "No, ma'am, please hurry." And she says, "We're getting somebody out there to you." And your next comment was, "I should have known." What are you referencing in that statement?
I don't remember saying that, but I guess, all the threats and, I had been convinced that this was something to do with boat wreck and, all of that.
Did Paul ever get physical with you? Ever get into a heated argument and get physical?
One time, a little bit where he wouldn't listen to me.
Did you ever get physical with him?
No, sir.
Talking about Maggie, did Paul get physical with Maggie?
Yeah.
When Agent Owen asks if Paul had ever gotten physical with either of his parents, Murdaugh is swift to answer with confidence. This is a stark contrast to how he has been answering other questions. Agent Owen has more than likely already caught on to this and now knows exactly what to look for when Alex lies.
We may honestly never know who was first, but I think it was Paul, for the simple fact he wouldn't have, if he saw his mother getting shot, he wouldn't have run to that feed ring. Unless that's where one of the guns was. But, you know, we've already established family guns were used. And if they came from Paul's truck was at the house. So where were they?
And how did they get down there?
Yeah, how did they get down there? I mean, it's normal for y'all to leave your keys in the cars. However, if somebody showed up and did this, you're not going to take Paul's truck back to the house and leave the key in it.
By this point, many may have noticed that the lawyer accompanying Murdaugh has gone completely silent. At the beginning of the session, the lawyer was upset to learn that he and his client were here for a questioning, not an update on the case. However, Murdaugh agreed to answer the agent's questions, and as they went further and further, the lawyer's head began to sink as he hunched over. It appears that now even Murdaugh's lawyer has lost his confidence in this case. Murdaugh's lawyer does eventually begin to ask Agent Owens questions regarding the forensics of the case, but he doesn't aid Murdaugh with any further legal advice.
The pair of guns that you bought for the Christmas presents, they were matching set, right, other than color. All right about that?
Yes, sir. They were exactly the same.
With thermal night vision and stuff like that. The one that you purchased to replace the lost one, did it have any kind of optics on it? Night vision, scope, anything like that?
It doesn't have a night vision scope. You know, and I don't know if Paul has put something on it. He would move scopes around from gun to gun to gun, but I'm not.
Oh, when was the last time that gun had been seen? Do you know of?
I know that we looked for it around the Christmas holidays. Or we went to get it around the Christmas holidays. I asked about it around the Christmas holidays.
20? This past Christmas holidays? Okay. And that was the replacement, what I guess we call it.
That's correct.
Okay.
Still trying to figure this out. I cannot exclude the boat incident and those involved. I know that y'all are currently going through the civil portion. How far had that progressed? I mean, were y'all in the talks? Was it breaking down?
Investigators have concluded that guns owned by the Murdaugh family were used in the murder of Paul and Maggie. It's unknown where the guns came from. On the other hand, Murdaugh does admit to having lost a firearm during the previous holiday season. A lost firearm can mean serious consequences, especially if it ends up in the wrong hands. By law, firearm owners are required to report missing or stolen firearms. It not only protects them should the firearm be used in a crime, but it also allows for local law enforcement to be aware of the situation and on the lookout. The questioning has yielded few concrete answers for the investigators, but sitting and having this conversation with Murdaugh allows for them to see how he reacts and behaves to the situation. Body language is an extremely important factor that investigators take into account while digging for a confession.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. I just a few more questions.
Okay.
Did you kill Maggie?
No. Did I kill my wife?
Yes, sir.
No, David.
Do you know who did?
No, I do not know who did.
Did you kill Paul?
No, I did not kill Paul.
Do you know who did?
No, sir, I do not know who did. Do you think I killed Maggie?
I have to go where the evidence and the facts
I
take me.
understand that. And you think I killed Paul?
I have to go where the evidence and the facts take me, and I I don't have anything that points to anybody else at this time.
Alex Murdaugh would continue through the judicial process claiming his innocence. Several more factors, witnesses, and key evidence pieces would come into play during the Murdaugh trial. Ultimately, Alex Murdaugh would be found guilty for both the murders of Maggie and Paul. On March 3, 2023, Murdaugh stood before a judge where he received life in prison without the possibility of parole. But the brutal chapter doesn't end here. Murdaugh faces 99 charges, stemming from 19 grand just indictments for various crimes, including defrauding his clients and former law firm of $9 million. Murdaugh potentially could face several other financial criminal charges in addition to his murder charges. Investigators are led to believe that with the possibility of financial allegations, the civil suit caused by his son, and raging opioid addiction were the motives that caused Alex Murdaugh to kill 2/3 of his immediate family. Instead of facing the oncoming storm, Murdaugh is thought to have murdered Maggie and Paul in cold blood in order to divert attention away from his horrendous crimes.